Someone said, why am I going to pay $500 for a picture of a hobo?
I always thought Kyle Beckerman was a good player.
Fire sticking their foot in it.
They said they were going to cut my food rations.
Cork soaking.
There is no possible way to articulate the malaise, the lack of ambition, the way it's felt for so long to be a fan better than he did. Welcome back to the Enemies of the Fire podcast. This week we got a fun one because there's news in MLS. There's news in leagues wrapping up in Europe, and we get to talk about the Fire this week. So I am FC Neo Tokyo. This is James. This is DPG. And this week, let's jump right into MLS stuff, the stuff that hits close to the heart. James, what's going on? What's
Leo
up?
Messi. Leo Messi is back, full throttle. All right, guess what stat matters? Guess the only stat that matters in MLS besides wins.
It's chicks dig goals, man.
Goals. Guess who's leading? Guess who is leading all of MLS in goals? I don't think it's going to be hard to guess. I have not buried the lead. You can see it.
No, Messi is the Golden Boot leader, and let's not forget he has 7 assists as well. In 7 games. 9 goals, 7 assists.
And here we were worrying about Luis Suarez hogging all the glory. Leo Messi sneaks up, all of a sudden has 9 goals and 7 assists. I don't think that Luis Suarez is actually that far behind him, though. So that's wild.
So before DPG rains on all of our parade, I would like to say, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, when everybody freaked out when he had that minor injury.
Mm-hmm.
I told you they were coming back. They're going to be just fine. MLS is weird. It's a long season. Here they are in first. Here he is leading the league. DPG, what's wrong with it? What's wrong? Why do you hate fun?
Too much hype on that Messi, bro. It's like, oh my God. It's like when everybody thinks about MLS, I think about Messi. Like, me personally, I don't care. I've been a fan of this league even before Messi, even before Zatlan, even before Schweinsteiger, okay? This league was fine without him. This league was still selling $500 million franchises before he arrived. It doesn't matter. All right. You guys want to hype up Messi? You guys want to think that he's God's greatest gift to MLS? By all means, think so. But honestly, it's all hype. It's all smoke and mirrors for me, man.
To me, there's something to the hype, though, because, I mean, look at what's going on with the WNBA and this Caitlin Clark, who's been absolutely mad. She's selling so many jerseys that she's putting the Dallas Cowboys to shame. NFL teams are being outsold by the phenomena that is Caitlin Clark, who's going to this Indiana team. And they play Chicago, so that's going to be fun, taking on Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. But when you're talking, but that's hype. It's Caitlin Clark is hype, and she's bringing people into the league. More people watch the WNBA draft than ever before, and more people are going to watch the WNBA this coming season than ever before because of Caitlin Clark. Messi got a lot of people to watch MLS that wouldn't, but has that hype kind of turned down a little bit? Has things... I mean,
no, not even in the slightest. That hype has not turned down because you also forget, for all the DPGs in the world, where are you going to be when Miami comes to town this year? In the stands? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Selling those tickets for a couple shackles. Actually,
you wild. This is your chance to see something like, and James brought up Caitlin Clark. It's the same thing. And look at how she's spoken about versus how some people look at Messi. What she's doing, everybody says is great and amazing. And it is.
It is.
But that's also how we should look at what Messi's doing. The problem is, I think where some of the negativity comes from is us old MLS lifers can see the underneath it, the behind the scenes where they're not going to capitalize on it. We see they're not setting up the ramp. They're just letting the car go off the ledge. And we already can see it because we've lived through it through David Beckham DP era. You know, like look at other stunts, like all the expansion that went nuts. You know, like it. We've seen it before.
I think MLS missed on something. Here's where MLS missed, because I don't think the Caitlin Clark phenomena was just Caitlin Clark. I think a part of that was actually Angel Reese.
It was the feud. It was
kind of the feud.
It was the bird magic of it.
And the fact that Angel's coming to Chicago Sky along with Camila Cardoso, who's another dominant player who won the national championship over Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese apparently also won a national championship before Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark did not win a national championship.
No.
Both Angel and Camila, new Chicago Sky players, have. However, the hype behind what I'm getting at here is there's kind of like a rivalry built into this draft that's happened here with Chicago picking up these two players who've beaten Caitlin Clark, but yet Caitlin Clark's beating them and everywhere else that matters. The TV metrics, the rankings, the jersey sales, the tickets sold, everything. So that is Messi. What MLS needs to capitalize on is where's that rival for Messi? Where's that rival that drives interest? Because you can't ice skate without a little friction. You need friction to be able to push yourself forward. And that's why there's a curved blade on an ice blade. And I'm looking at Ronaldo. Why is Ronaldo not on some sort of MLS team to create some sort of burgeoning? We all know why. But allegedly. But burgeoning. But that's kind of my idea, though, is like, where's that burgeoning rival to Messi where we want to tune into that game? Like, there's the lock, because Messi is without peer in MLS. Without peer. This team is without peer. They're literally the best team. They're the Bulls without Utah, without Houston, without Sonics, without
the Detroit Pistons and Knicks. Get it right.
Without the Lakers, without the Pistons. They're the Bulls without a rival. Like, the Bulls had teams that they had to go through, and Messi doesn't really have teams that they got to go through. They're just automatically kind of the best and crowned. They have no rivalry. There's no like, who's going to knock these guys off the perch? And that's what that's what I kind of like about what's going on with the WNBA. And I'm wondering if the MLS is missing on this opportunity.
So hold on, DPG, you look like you're going to pass out if you don't get this off your chest.
Oh my God, man. This, you guys are hyping up
James,
Messi.
I have an answer for
you. You know what? This league has spent the better part of its existence trying to get rid of that, retirement league vibe, right? What you guys are talking about now is bringing in, there's Messi. Well, let's bring in Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's bring in all these guys that are at the verge of retiring. Yeah, you guys want to bring those guys that are about to retire. Like, those are like maybe one hit wonders for the season, and that's it.
Sergio Ramos.
The thing about it is that you're gonna bring that old stuff back when we try to divest ourselves from that situation the past 10 years, try to get rid of this whole retirement league vibe, with the whole U21 initiative, with bringing in younger DPs. And then now you guys are wanting it back just for someone to compete with Messi. Like, it shouldn't be that way. If anything, you should be. Go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you. I think I'm going to tell you this. You might be right about most people's thinking, but the way I see that is it's a testament to where we are currently. Because before we had to be the retirement league, then you said we put those initiatives forward to push youth and American and Canadian players, and what happened now is there's more money in this. So now not only do you have the youth, because like, look at us, Gutierrez and Brady, right? But then you could sprinkle in the guys like the Messis who have 2 or 3 more seasons. Messi is a whole different topic than any other DP. Like, I didn't want Lewandowski here in Chicago. He may work other places, but I didn't want him here in Chicago because it wasn't going to work, right?
Would you want Chucky Lozano here in Chicago?
We'll get to that. So you let us in perfectly, but right before we go there, I want to say this: Messi doesn't have the villain. What everyone's watching for is like an establishment of some sort of dynasty, some sort of dominance. Not so much randomness, not so much MLS. This is like trying to build the super team to not like embarrass everybody, but to be like, this is what greatness looks like at this level. And I think that's the point of Miami. Now, to your question,
they're Real Madrid. There is no Barcelona in this league.
Yes. And I think that's the point of it. That's the storyline, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, I'm all about that. But to your point, yes, give me Chucky Lozano on the fire. Why did we screw this up? How did we screw this up? There's rumors out here, folks, that Chucky Lozano is going to sign with the expansion San Diego team. DPG, what say you?
I really don't care about Chucky Lozano. It's again another hype train. You're gonna
Failed.
sign them.
Total
You're gonna
failure.
if you were to sign them, all you will bring to the stadium is all the Liga MX fans, all the Mexican
You're
national
not
team
bringing
fans.
people who know the game of soccer. I mean, because if you know the game of soccer, you know this guy ain't good enough.
Are you kidding
There
me?
you
He's
go.
better than any winger on our team.
On our team, yes.
And yeah, like
yes.
we've talked about this. I'm gonna trademark this. It's the Jordan Morris phenomenon.
Oh Jesus!
He
Here we
did
go.
he did okay. He had a few good seasons, but he didn't put together a stellar career in Europe. But guess what? I think at this age, at an MLS level, he's got 5 years of tearing Major League Soccer up.
That
He's
might
gonna
be
end up-
true.
He's gonna end up.
making money, having a great life, and having a great
that
career.
might be true.
He's gonna end up like Carlos Vela, bro. Broken by the time it's over.
Really?
Maybe you might be right, but
But didn't Carlos
he's-
Vela win
he's
a championship?
27. He did. He most certainly did.
No,
Wasn't he a hero
same
in the
thing-
city?
Same thing about Chicharito. He's gonna become an afterthought.
He didn't win a championship, did he?
Well, Chicharito struggled here and got injured and it was older, way older.
He was more of a TV star than he was a soccer player.
Okay.
Like he was
I wouldn't
great.
necessarily say that. Like
He was great on you. No, he was all in these MLS, promo hype videos and stuff, and having little, interviews here and there. He was a great TV star. Then he was an MLS player.
Yeah,
He
wasn't up to
struggled with
Conte.
injury. I think that was the issue.
But he would have been so awesome in Chicago. I would have loved him.
Oh
I would
God.
have freaking loved him. And I think
would
the
have been
city
great.
would have loved him too, because you root for Chicharito.
So you brought up Chicharito in LA. Here's the other issue. Rumored fire designated player target. Olivier Giroud signed a contract with LAFC. He coming over in a couple weeks, right? like he's about done. So he's coming over to LAFC. Did we miss out? Are we pissed?
No.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I would rather roll the dice on Kuipers. You guys,
Because
are
Kuipers is more mobile, gonna have more years ahead of him.
Yeah.
I'm with you on
You know
that.
what?
If we needed to
Anything
win the
that-
season, if we were like, oh, we were second place last year, this will put us over the top.
Oh yeah, we're a striker away. Yeah, I
like
feel you.
that I would do, but we're
Yeah,
not
no,
that.
100%.
We were 25th in MLS last year, so.
Does Olivier Giroud have success in MLS? And caveat,
Yes.
with this version of LAFC.
Yes. Olivier Giroud it will have success. Absolutely. Dude's a freaking cone that can move. Like, I mean, just a little bit. Like
he's gonna be another Gareth Bale, bro.
Yes, I agree. But
He's gonna be another Gareth
And when he's
Bale.
out there, he's gonna produce. But when is he out there? How often is he out there?
Giroud stayed healthy for the most part that I remember.
That's
I think
huge.
he's only had one major injury in like the
think he's
last
gonna
4
score
or 5
goals.
seasons, but I don't know, man. He was still scoring goals in AC Milan.
Mm.
The thing I fear is the same thing I feared when we had Lewandowski rumors here in Chicago. Like, service. Is that LAFC team good enough anymore to really provide him good service?
So is Giroud the type of striker that relies on service? Yes. But is he also the type of striker that creates miracles out of those types of teams where nothing is happening? Yes. So that's where Giroud is like one of the perfect MLS strikers, because there's those games where nothing is coming in from the wing and still Giroud somehow finds a way off the corner kick or something. Like, it's just like, that's what I really like about Giroud coming to MLS.
And how sad is Christian Pulisic? Is he crying? He's sad. They're boys. You know that, right?
No, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's a big boy.
Would you want
He ain't no-
Christian Pulisic
He ain't
coming back
Jordan
to?
Morris, bro.
Would you want Christian
No.
Pulisic like pulling a Chucky Lozano coming back to MLS?
No, hell no. But he shouldn't. He's proven he's of top 5 league quality like a winger, and he's gonna have a great time here at Milan until he's probably breaking down. Like, it'll be great. That's my thought. But so this is kind of a topic near and dear to my heart, because my second team, the team that I'm so jealous of all the time, is Seattle. And one of the reasons why is Brian Schmetzer's story in American soccer is effing amazing. He played for him in the NASL. He coached him in the A-League. He coached him in the USL. He like once they became an MLS team, they hired Ziggy Schmidt ahead of him, and he was an assistant. And then when Ziggy had to leave, he took that team over, and now he's still there. How hot is his seat right now? Because they're not good.
He's about to get fired by the team that he's been playing and coaching and doing all this stuff for like the past 20, 30 years.
I mean, that breaks my heart.
He's not going to get the Frank treatment where, like, hey, we know you're the best we could do, so.
Well, here's the difference. I don't think it's his fault. I think Frank is at fault, but, like, I don't think this is Brian's fault. Like, I think that team is not put together well. They lost their GM, and it's just not put together well.
Well, how much of that blame does fall on him? Because, hey, he's expected to pull his part of the weight. And, you know, maybe because of that loss of GM, you had to rely on that coach all the more to help you build your roster. You relied on him, and he proved his worth that he ain't worth a damn as a GM. He might be a great coach when a good guy picks him for him, but he ain't worth a damn when it comes to picking players, at least seemingly is the current case.
If Seattle fires him, would you take him as... Would you take him on the Fire, or would you take him as a US?
He's an immediate upgrade on Frank, I would say.
Yeah, anything's an upgrade on Frank right now.
Yes.
High school coach is an upgrade on Frank.
Sparky pissing on a fire hydrant is an upgrade on Frank.
Yeah, right.
A cone in practice.
Yeah, I mean, Frank is. We are well documented. We are a Frank out podcast,
and we 100%. Love Frank. We love Frank.
We do. I would rather him.
I love Frank, but I just
stop being coach and do anything else.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Go back to
anything else.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he'd be a great GM, but I'd even like accept.
I don't care. I don't care if he's a greeter at the United Club,
right?
Yeah, you know, anything. But don't touch this team anymore. You're breaking my heart.
Breaking my heart.
So we would take Brian Schmetzer.
Hi, Mark.
So we'd all take Brian Schmetzer with a smile, correct?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Here's a caveat to that.
Caveat?
There's a caveat to that. If Heights is still running this team, then you're pretty much setting it. You're setting.
I got a better question for you. Do you think that Seattle's team is as talented as the Chicago Fire right now, and basically Schmetzer might get the same results with the Fire if he was here in the first place? Or is the Fire a much more talented team than Seattle and he would have more success here?
I would say Masi Manos. I kind of feel like he would outlast, if he's hired in the middle of this season, he will outlast Heights. And not the inverse. So like, but right now, like Klopas, like Heights is gonna outlive Klopas. And like that's still crazy. But I don't know what I'll put it this way. I don't think any of us are big Greg Berhalter fans, right? So would you guys take Schmetzer at the men's national team level?
I would take Greg Berhalter here, though.
Like,
totally. USMNT can Berhalter, because that's the right move.
We'll take the assistant coach
bring
too.
Berhalter here.
Yeah, bring Berhalter here, but would you take Schmetzer as the U.S. coach?
No, fuck no.
Really?
Fuck no. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing right now. If you can't manage shit, you can't manage shit. That's how I feel. If you can't manage shit, you can't manage for shit. Because guess what? All management is shit. All these guys have freaking crab sandwiches that they're all trying to manage.
You just contradicted yourself, man. You literally you make Toke like lose his mind because he's like, whoa, but you just said you'll take what, and then.
I would not take Schmetzer for the U.S. men's national team coach. I would take him for the Fire because
I would over Greg. At least.
I don't.
Between him and Greg.
No way.
Guys, just say Jesse Marsh and move on. Say
Jesse, yes. Hey,
well,
Jesse.
No, Jesse Marsh is going to coach South Korea. Did you not hear this?
That's a horrible decision.
I'm serious.
My God!
Wow, that's the ultimate. Like, you left me at the altar. Well, now look who I'm banging. Like, that, like,
100%.
like I
Shows
don't,
up to your wedding with
and
the
she's
new girlfriend.
and you could tell where he met her at the club.
Oh
Oh,
God!
At the club.
Hell yeah!
They met at the club. Jesse Marsh and South Korea, they met at the club because that's where you go after you get divorced, after you get jilted at the altar like the U.S. men's national team did him, because he should be the coach for the U.S. men's national team. It's no question in my mind.
All right, gentlemen, I think we've hit all of the interesting MLS topics today.
Yeah.
So I say let's wrap up the segment and come back with some European leagues and other kind of European nonsense. Maybe we'll talk a little Wrexham. People seem to like that.
Ooh. Tease. Catching the flip side. Stay tuned for Enemies of the Fire.
What's up, fellow enemies of the Fire? I'm FC Neo Tokyo, and this is going to be a public service announcement for the upcoming Fire game on April 20th. Just to let everybody know, this is what potheads consider a holiday. It's 420. Who knows what that means? But I want you to stay safe. So if you find any marijuana of any sort, please confiscate it and bring it to me. I'll be the one with the blue hair, and I will make sure we dispose of it in a controlled burn so that everyone is safe. So just, like I said, stay safe, have a good time out there, everybody.
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. And now, apparently, this episode has been interrupted with breaking news. Apparently, James found out that there's breaking Wrexham news, and we like to flex our Wrexham knowledge on this show.
Guys, you are never going to believe it. New York's hottest club is Wrexham on Netflix. And you better believe that you better be tuning in, because Wrexham have just announced within the last 24 hours a monumental capacity increase for the historic racecourse grounds. The most historic stadium in all of sports, mostly soccer, but all of sports for this case. Racecourse ground, it's been in functioning since, I think, at least 1914, if not before World War I.
Oh, yeah. No, it was 1800s.
It was in the 1800s. It's one of the oldest grounds in the world, and they've long been very, very small. Very, very small, but actually pretty big for what their club size was. Like, they had one of the bigger grounds for their club size for being in the lower leagues. They're getting a brand new stadium upgrade. Not getting a new stadium. They're pulling the Bears circa 2006, but maybe a little bit better. They're bringing it up to 55,000 capacity, which is a huge...
Well, wait. Hold on. Before you go any further.
Sure thing.
I need clarification. So they already had like a stand that was like derelict.
Yes.
That they were working on.
Yeah, they did.
Where they're getting the extra seats, or are they going to do like a Soldier Field thing and put like a UFO on it?
So their current situation is they got 12,000 seats.
Okay.
12,000. They plan to add over 40,000.
They are smart. That's that's painful, because that ground. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I just had brain blast here. So I was gonna say it's sad because that ground will no longer feel the same. B, to be honest, Soldier Field's kind of the same way, and it still feels kind of the same. And C, I just thought about this. If their actual goal is championship level and Premier League level, I guarantee that the race course is not up to snuff for championship.
No.
Like, definitely not Premier League, but probably not championship.
No. I mean, 12,000, actually it is up to championship in some cases.
Is it?
Having a stadium of 12,000, I think it is. Let's go to EPL Championship real quick. I'll look up stadiums real quickly.
DPG, what do you think? All right.
So my thing is this.
they're in line with some of the lower teams. They would not have the smallest stadium in EFL at all. Adams Park for the Wycombe Wanderers has 10,000. Alexandra Stadium for Crew Alexandra has 10,000.
Which I think they're fighting for promotion, aren't they?
Dean Court for Bournemouth is only 12,000. Bournemouth, who's been in the Premier League for a while, or a year or two or so, 12,000.
Oh,
Glanford Park for Scunthorpe, 9,000. That's a great name, Scunthorpe.
Their logo is cool. It's a fist like holding like a steel beam, or I guess we call them a girder.
Huish Park with 9,000. Kennel, who has Huish Park homes Yeovil Town. Kenilworth Road houses Luton Town, and they're about 10,000. Layer Road for Colchester United. I love picking up Colchester here on FIFA. 6,000 stadium. Peterborough United competes with them with Wrexham, with London Road, where they play at. Formed in 1913, stadium is 15,000 big.
Okay, so I guess I was completely wrong.
So
I guess
their stadium fits, but if they're Premier League. But wait, what about the upper echelons of EFL? Guess how big those stadiums are. Newcastle United used to be there. They have a 52,000 stadium for St. James Park. Stadium of Light for Sunderland, who is currently there, 49,000. Riverside Stadium for Middlesbrough, 34,000. Cardiff City Stadium for Cardiff City, 33,000. Brummel Lane for Sheffield United, 32,000. So yeah, there's some big boys here.
That's actually kind of wild.
So
go ahead, DPG.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, I get it, and it's. In our last segment, I took a look at the comments and whatnot. We had one guy from the Liga MX fanboy that clearly started watching MLS after watching Wrexham. But you also had another comment where I think that person commenting is like has been a long time Wrexham fan, and he doesn't like the hype.
He doesn't appreciate the hype.
He doesn't like the hype. I get it.
It's like when your favorite band like is underground and cool, and then they got that one hit single on our album. And you're like,
you don't want your favorite band to get paid money and have.
It's a weird
get rewarded.
It's not. It doesn't feel organic.
Yes.
It doesn't feel organic.
It is synthetic in a way, because it's the power of celebrity that has really boosted the club of Wrexham in some ways.
I disagree. They completely went about it the right way. It appears now, yes, but also
because
them
as owners, they're like, hey, we're just two guys. Yes, we happen to be celebrities, but we're just two guys that want to own a soccer team because we happen to have enough money and we care enough to try to do this. So to your point, Toke, that's exactly what is happening. So they're like, screw the fact that we're celebrities. We're just two guys trying to make this work, and we are doing our best to pull these levers and execute these deals and contracts to bring in the best people and the best minds here so that we can catapult up the table.
It's a good mix of modernization and respect.
Let me ask you this. How long do you give those people, those longtime Wrexham fans? How long do you give them before they get priced out?
That's a question.
I don't think ever. There's a completely different mindset with pricing for tickets overseas than there is here in America.
They're bringing 45,000 more seats in the next few years.
I think all the locals.
How long before you have your franchisees around the stadium? How long before you run out the local owned establishment because Walmart's coming to town?
I don't know if we've watched the show enough to be able to maybe Toke has.
I personally think if you look at it, obviously overseas, these cities are older even than the 200-year-old
and their
city
communities
I live in,
are very connected in some ways.
And they're very connected. It's hard to get new construction. I would say you're going to see some of that modernization, but I think you're going to see some respect. And you know what could happen in the other way? The chucklehead who owns the bar next to Wrexham might not get bought out by Applebee's, but he might become a franchise, right? There's a different reality where that happens.
You could also be the longtime fan that used to go to their favorite pub before the game, or during the away teams, now all of a sudden that whole pub is filled with a bunch of strangers that you have no idea
then
who they
there'll
are.
be another pub, then another pub, and another pub. Like,
And then, but
That's the
saying,
thing. Because because of that, there will be more. More will form because that's what capitalism works.
there'll be
It's
new
service them.
traditions. They could have easily come in.
It does stink.
Leveled
That
the place,
I hear what you're saying, but
or built a new stadium in the burbs, and built 100,000 person. No, they're staying where they are. They're staying connected to the community.
We don't know what's gonna happen. For all we know, these two guys can end up selling it to some Saudi prince for oil money.
Just like they did their phone company.
Hold on.
But what's funny to me is because DPG was very, very much for the stadium in Chicago coming, but isn't so much about the stadium upgrade for Wrexham. I find that a little interesting because they're going for 12,000 to 55,000. That is a massive increase of being able to fund your club up the table and also give more chance for fans around England, around Wrexham, around the world to come and take a glance.
First off, we don't own that stadium. That's not that's not a Chicago Fire stadium. All right, it's more or less a Bear stadium,
right?
And it's gonna be fixed on their dime, and Toke's time,
Yeah,
but
thank you.
what I'm trying to say is this: I can't blame the older Wrexham fans, not wanting the hype, not wanting the attention. Because eventually, you'll get in situations where, what if the guy walks into his favorite pub, he has his favorite stool always empty, and all of a sudden now you got a bunch of, randos that you have no idea who they are, and all of a sudden they're wearing Wrexham jerseys, and they probably think they're experts.
That's already been happening, and more businesses will pop up, man. That's how these things work. Well, hold on. Here's a good question: when you lived in the city, and I live in a city now, do you go hang out at Wrigleyville bars? No.
No.
You only do if you're taking customers to a Cubs game, or if you're from out of town and going to a Cubs game. Like, you don't hang out in Wrigley, or if you're 23. But beyond that, I don't know. I think these guys.
I want to think of it as like the phenomenon that we're seeing with, for example, like spring break in South Florida. Like, it's gotten so bad that they don't want tourists there anymore.
They literally created new laws to basically stop the tourists and the kids from trashing the town in Miami and for spring break. New laws have been created in Florida basically to combat that craziness.
So, the fact is that you're building a bigger stadium, and I get it. But keep in mind that this stadium is based out of a small town, all right?
Right.
It's not a city. It's not Chicago. It's not London. It's not Manchester. It's a small town. And
but how long before, other than Cardiff City, every other person in Wales is a fan of that team and will travel the 20 minutes it takes
I think that's going to be the case. Guys, like, if you're a Wrexham fan, I think you should really appreciate this while you have it, because this type of stuff.
The ride has got to be amazing.
The ride, this is a ride. Enjoy the ride. And the part of the ride is all the sights you see on the side, and some of it's bad, some of it's good. Some of it you could see the metal underneath the animatronics, and some of it you're like, holy shit, that's a T-Rex, even though it's not. Yeah. So enjoy it. That's my point, because this stuff's fleeting. Look at Leicester. Leicester's just climbing back up. They won the fucking league. I love Leicester. That was the hype was there, and they had the same problem, the same thing. Leicester got all the hype for like 1 or 2 or 3 seasons, and the fans got chased out, and it was fleeting, and people got annoyed. Stuff changed, but guess what? It faded. It wasn't lasting. I don't know if that's the case with Wrexham, because of the way they have a TV show behind them and all that kind of stuff, and along with the power of celebrity. But yeah.
So some of the comments I'm going to read off to you. We have one individual said,
"Not every club's Man United."
Here's one of the comments. I'm from Wrexham, and I agree with you. I like to see Wrexham establish itself in the championship and be able to stay there, plus see the hype die away. Okay.
Well,
that would be right. Wouldn't that be the really good?
Well, hold on. The hype may die, but the hype may die, but as long as these guys are in it for the long haul,
yes,
they'll be competitive in the championship, and that'll be good enough. Like that, how dope would that be to be competitive? That's what we beg for in Chicago. Now,
what if this hype brought you there? So like that's the price you have to pay. Like it's a discard in a game. You have to discard the card of the hype, and boom, now you're in the championship.
So
well, like,
here's
I can't wait to tell you guys this. Hold on, I cannot wait to tell you guys.
Okay,
this.
go on.
I brought up, will they be there for the long haul?
Right.
They just bought a Liga MX team.
Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds did, right?
Correct. So are they
didn't buy an MLS
around?
team,
Or
mind you.
Exactly. They did not buy into an MLS team. That's kind of heartbreaking, especially for a guy so Philly.
Montreal was right there. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. Montreal needs a resurgence.
I mean,
he's a Vancouver guy, though.
So we have one guy here saying it's a great story. Sounds like hating. No, bro. It sounds like you're just watching the story. You don't care about soccer. Don't even waste your time, bro. Don't argue. Go back to watching documentaries. Let's see.
You have a vendetta here against everybody, bro.
I'm gonna call out people. Here. Let's see.
I think we've had enough call outs.
No,
man.
go one more. Let him go. Let him go.
Let's see.
Let's see. We'll give you two more.
Let's see.
Pick your two most egregious offenders. I'll give you time here, and I'll give you time.
By the way, I liked everybody's post. I like them all.
So, by the way,
there's like one guy that says I'm the guy at the right is angry or doesn't like Wrexham for some reason. Ha ha ha. The MLS right now is messy. Yes, it has gotten better over the years. That is what they want. That is also it's they. That is what that's what they want. Okay. But right now, But right now, the MLS is mostly messy. The MLS will love a story or attention like Wrexham.
I actually debate against that. I don't see the MLS as mostly. I don't see the MLS as mostly as messy.
To say that they don't is crazy.
The view from outside of the country, because MLS is good about their local people, like their local team, but like outside of this country, it is just like messy.
That makes sense.
Why
else are you tuning into MLS? Yeah.
So not sure what the guy in the top right is talking about, but yes, the MLS would love a show like Welcome to Wrexham that is popular and gives insight on the league teams and players. It's actually only gives insight on one team. Not so much on other teams or their players. All right. And for the guy in the top right, again, who wants to know when they'll get to the Premier League setup and players and coaches, probably once they get to the championship, if they get there. Ha ha. Okay.
I love this guy's Nelson laugh.
They were honestly, in 5th tier just last season. I like how he makes it.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. So it's just basically it's just this guy just keep talking and talking. First of all, the guy doesn't sound like he watches soccer. He probably figured this out by playing FIFA. Sounds like a guy is hating on MLS. So by the name of it,
a
sounds
lot
like
of people
he's
play FIFA and watch a little bit of soccer, so they feel like they're actually knowledgeable at soccer because they play FIFA. And they're like, why isn't he pressing X there?
James, is that not why all of us are sitting in these chairs right now?
It might be.
It
might be.
No. So another thing too is that we got to make this clear. First of all, it's just attention going to a small club. Okay.
Yeah, it's a small club still. Bigger than all MLS
still
clubs.
A small club.
That's dope.
It's still a small club, but there are tons of stories with other clubs that are probably more compelling than this small club. Let's keep in mind here. Let's not beat around the bush. All this attention is because of the guys who own the club. It's not because the club is like doing a Rocky storyline where it's like trying to achieve the Premier League goal. This is just mostly about two guys on the team and what they're doing and all sorts of stuff.
But
blah,
DPG,
blah, blah.
they're two guys that have kept all of their promises. That is something that is unusual for all of these owners. You got literally, they made 5 promises. Here's the first one: a pledge to win, team values. Third one: renovate the rest, turning the team into a globally renowned force. Fourth one: renovate the race course ground. That's happening. Training facilities. They're investing in the youth as Toke was talking about last episode. Check that out on YouTube. Click that link.
Let me ask you this. How many celebrities own, and I'm talking about full control. I'm not talking about your little 10%.
And Will Ferrell's that own LAFC. You're not talking about that, right?
Yeah, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about how many celebrities owners does the Premier League have?
There's not a lot of celebrities that have that.
Oh my God, because those are
cha-ching.
billionaires that want to stay in the shadows, dog. Like, come on now. Like, I think
think-
about
and
this.
you
Hold
think-
on. You're talking about why do we care about this team because of these two guys, dude. I seem to remember there being a big movie about just two guys that played by Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill about the A's, man, because of these sports stories are compelling.
Yeah, so was Sunderland Till I Die. That was very compelling.
Hell yeah, that's why that shit's on there, man. Like,
Yeah, so my thing is this.
and then that time Sylvester Stallone got all those people out of the prison camp.
Oh, Jesus.
Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold, the movie I was talking about. Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. He was like a pirate in the Caribbean, and she was like some innocent lady. Fool's Gold.
So here's my thing. So I'm happy for the Rex. I'm happy for the Wrexham fans. I'm happy that you guys are going through this moment. I really am. I'm happy for you guys. But it's gonna come a time when you're gonna stop and think and look around, and nothing's gonna look the same for you anymore. All right, those old. I'm telling you,
change is a part of life, dog. You can't stay. Yeah. You stay stagnant, you die, brother. You got to evolve.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it that way, that's fine. But you're talking about you're looking at it from a point of view from the outside in.
DPG, I have one thing I want to add for you, or actually 4 things I want to add for you, because I wonder if this is going to change the way you're coloring some of these things or seeing some of these things, because these are 4 on the record guiding principles that Rob and Ryan stated when they wanted to do when they took over. They want to protect the heritage that has made Wrexham AFC and the race course ground such a special place to watch football in the last 156 years. They're doing their best to keep that promise. They're not getting rid of the race course ground. They're literally upgrading it with fantastic effects. Number 2, reinforce the values, traditions, and legacy of this community. They're not just looking out for themselves. The community, the local community. We understand and respect the intense loyalty and love for this club and how it's woven into the fabric of the town and its supporters in the town. Big time promise to them. 3rd promise, to use our resources to grow the exposure of the club. Let's have a little Netflix show. Of course, this would be in concert with protecting the heart and spirit of a community-led historical icon. They give lip service to it there. I hope that they stand by those principles. But why can't the 3rd oldest club in the world have a global appeal? That's exactly how I felt when I took Wrexham over in Football Manager, when I saw, these guys have like one of the oldest stadiums in the world.
You immediately started playing as Wrexham. See, that stuff works.
I vibed with Wrexham before this Rob and Ryan stuff happened. They were my team. They were my go-to team in Football Manager forever since I started playing Football Manager.
You know what?
I like to do the research. I was going through teams. I didn't want to play a top English flight team. I wanted to play a road to glory, and I wanted to find a team with a little bit of history. What's interesting about Wrexham is they are a Welsh team that plays in the English system, and they have one of the oldest stadiums in the world. So I was like, you know what? That's history that I could buy into, and I love history. Number 4, the last guiding principle, and I'll let you talk here, to reward the faith of the supporters who have stood by Wrexham AFC throughout its history by putting everything we have towards what fans want most for their club, and that is to win. So they're saying that they're backing up some of the oldest fans, the fans that you are very much concerned about. It sounds like they're also concerned about, and that sounds like a good thing.
They profile a lot of people on that show, man. A lot of just regular folks, and they were really they gave people who were doing volunteer work. They just gave them the job title and a paycheck, like that. That's doing something, man. That's doing something.
So my thing is, one thing is trying to run a small town club. Another thing is trying to run a whole championship or Premier League club.
International.
international
I
club.
think they could live a good life for however many years in the championship. They may sniff the Premier League, but I think championships where they settle in, they're a Millwall, right? They're always in there. They're always fighting.
So,
they're never going
I'm
up.
with
They're
them.
never going down.
Why can't the
go-
third oldest club be more popular than Man United? Why can't the third oldest club be more popular than Tottenham?
So to add on to your principles, that literally reminded me of the time that Nelson Rodriguez stood on that chair and went on and on about hyping up the club. Hyping up about community.
DPG, you know,
And
he's like, we strive to be world class. And guess what happened after that? So they talked about world class in 1 or 2 or 3 more press conferences, and then everybody started holding them. Everybody started holding them to account and saying, "Hey, where are the world class standards? We see your training field next to the dump. Next to the clod of dirt. We see your exercise room. We see your stadium. Where is the world class commitment? Because you're talking about this world class commitment, but we're not seeing it from you, Nelson Rodriguez and ownership. So I think that we're seeing that from Wrexham, though.
You are, and more importantly than even them doing everything they said they were going to do, they're not doing the opposite, which is what literally
and calling
Nelson
out the
Rodriguez
fans in a letter.
said.
Okay, so I'll give it 5 years before everybody forgets about Wrexham.
You're wild. You're wild.
Hey,
This
welcome
is-
to Sunderland,
you're-
right?
Yeah, you're stuck with them for a long time.
No,
brother.
bro, I give it
You're
5 years.
stuck.
I'm gonna hear about it, how they sold their stake to some oil tycoon from Saudi Arabia, maybe a prince.
Guys, let us know
Yeah.
how long you think the hype's going to last on Wrexham. Are they a forever club? Are they coming into forever territory?
When they get to the championship,
below.
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they sell the club to another highest bidder.
Oh,
Wow.
that'd be
All right.
abysmal. That's a sad way to.
Man.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, Wrexham fans.
We'll see. We'll see.
But it might happen, right? I mean, they're gonna have to sell the club eventually. But that probably Ryan's dead, Rob's dead, their family's dead.
We're not seeing that for quite some
I'm not
time.
seeing that for another 50, 60 years. The family's gonna love it. They're gonna be the new we don't want McCaskies. No. You want Rooney's. You want Rooney's. That's who you want.
Yep.
Because the Pittsburgh Steelers win. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys on the flip side of this. We're going to be talking Chicago Fire and a little bit more before we end the podcast. Thanks for hanging out here on Enemies of Fire. Make sure you guys punt that like button like a motherfucking G. Bam! Let's go.
Welcome back, Enemies of the Fire. We are here to talk about all things European soccer, or at least what we find extremely interesting. And so, very, very much interesting to our hearts is how PSV wrecked shop all season in Netherlands, raised the title, and then also we lost one of the coolest human beings ever. RIP to Serginho Dest and his what did he do? He tore his ACL. Rest in peace. Yeah, he's done for a hot minute.
Damn.
Which
I did think
Serginho
somebody
Dest.
died.
Yeah, it hurts.
It feels like that, but man, you know what, Pope? You took it too far there.
I was like, oh shit, somebody died?
That's how I feel, man. Serginho Dest is one of the absolute best American players on the globe right now.
Yes.
He is. I mean, I get it, but man, you made it sound like he died, bro. Like, man, he's like,
well, I mean,
I thought
no Serginho Dest in Copa America, man. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
no
we need him for the
Serginho
World
Dest.
Cup, though. That's what matters. Give me him and Serginho Dest in 2026.
it's just gonna roll.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna roll him off for the Copa America. That's it.
Guys, I think all the leagues are basically coming to an end, though. So you have some winners being doled out, right? EPL kind of still in a battle.
That's
Arsenal
still a battle.
Arsenal
between
versus Man
Arsenal
City.
and,
I hope Arsenal
yeah.
pulls it out. I'm rooting
Yeah,
for
agreed. I like variety. I hope Arsenal.
like
wins
variety.
just because
Arsenal. I actually prefer Man City.
I know.
And I'm a Man United fan.
As
But I
a
am so
soccer
mad at
watcher,
Man United.
Yeah, as a soccer watcher, I will watch more Man City than Arsenal every
Yes.
day, all day. But
Yes.
I'd rather Arsenal win just for the change of
Agreed.
season. Because if you go over to look at Germany,
Well,
finally
look at England.
Finally.
I mean, look at England the last 3 years. It's been Man City,
God.
Man City, Man City, Man City, Liverpool, Man City,
and then Man City,
Man City, Chelsea. Guess what? Guess what? Manchester United. You guys suck donkey balls. I'm a Manchester United fan, and it hurts. It's been abysmal. It's been it's to the point where I'm checked out. I'll care again when you guys give a shit, because they don't give a shit. They hired Ten Hag, and I knew they didn't give a shit because they fired Jose Mourinho, who's the only man on the planet who actually gives a shit about. He's the only manager who actually gives a shit about Manchester United's history, and they fired him. I'm a Jose guy. Bring Jose back, but maybe it's too late for Jose. Maybe bring in Bill Belichick.
Bus in Chicago, please.
Leicester City back in 2015-16. That's what happened. The next year was Chelsea. The next year was Manchester City. The next year's Manchester City. The next year's Liverpool for their one win. Everybody thinks Liverpool's so fucking dominant. They suck donkey balls. They did once. Okay, they don't suck donkey balls. They suck elephant ball. Sorry, they're a little bit bigger gonads for them. Manchester City, though. Manchester City.
If it weren't
Manchester
for
City.
Even J-Rod slip, they would have won another title.
That's true. Please, Arsenal, don't blow this. Come on.
Please. My God.
Give us something new.
We need some variety.
So how you feel about EPL? Are you a fan right now, or are you like, eh?
I'm mad at the end of the season. Like, I really do feel like Jedi had a good season, which I love. Jedi's another individual that I care deeply for. And honestly, like, I'm excited for Jamie Vardy to be back, dude. Chugging Red Bulls, being a madman, running into the wall, like Jamie Vardy all day, every day for me. So I'm excited.
Question.
Leicester's what up?
And it has to do with how we're seeing this come down. So they play in England. They play 38 total games. And so at the end of that 38 games, the champion is decided. Basically, the entire season is the playoffs. Is it time for English Premiership to start thinking about playoffs? Is it time to start thinking about taking the top 4 teams and putting them into a 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 type of playoff to see who wins a different cup here? Maybe still do what MLS does and you award the Community Shield for the winner of the league, and then you have a little bit of playoffs, because the end of the season for EPL it's like listening to a Bronx cheer, which I don't know if you know what that is. A Bronx cheer is a freaking
dude. James, no. But the problem is
James is trying to Americanize the Premier League, guys.
Well, here's the problem that no one wants to admit, because we're all here in America and we desperately want all these things because they're great.
Right.
Promotion relegation is great.
And they have that. They have playoffs in promotion relegation, but they don't have it here.
And they have playoffs as in cup games.
True.
Like, that's the U.S. Open Cup is your playoffs. You know what I mean? But anyway, I backtrack. The problem is, what is likely on the planet? Is America going to get pro rel, or is MLS going to open up the system? No, hell no. You're going to get salary caps and closed systems and playoffs overseas before you ever see any of that good stuff come over here, man. That's the real problem.
Damn.
I know, it makes you sad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, who wants to spend $500 million on a franchise only to get freaking sent down to second division the following season?
See, you know how you do that? You go 10 years of no relegation.
You buy,
but also,
you buy that team. That's the team you buy after they're relegated.
Well, right, true, but that's what you do. You stop expansion. You go 10 years. And whoever the bottom 3 teams after 10 years, and you give the lower divisions 10 years to beef up, then you do promotion relegation every year after that.
I think English Premiership is making a big mistake in not having a draft. The NFL draft is the NFL draft is legit one of the greatest freaking things about the NFL.
Yeah,
imagine you are Everton and you get to draft Man United's second best youth player.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because
That'd be
it's
awesome.
stupid. No, that's stupid.
That's
stupid.
dumb, man.
It's
totally different systems. I'm not
well, there's
debating
only
you there.
one league to go into. In the Jordan Morris effect, yet again, you can have a good career in any league.
Right.
As a soccer player. So the draft makes no sense.
And also it could complicate things because how are you going to get loaned out, right? Are
you going to be the third pick in the Premiership or the first pick after the first pick in Italy?
That's
you know what I mean?
Wild. That would be so cool. Imagine if every team in the English Premiership had a draft pick somehow. That would be nuts.
Oh, see, I messed up because I tried to make that sound terrible. Because
Yeah,
that's a terrible idea.
It'd be terrible for the player.
Excited.
Imagine you're a good player and you're on a bad team and then you're there for the next 4 years of your career, and that's your career. You get injured, boom, at your 5th year, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Grow up in France and get drafted to Turkey your whole life. Like, screw that, man. That's so terrible and dumb. That's like when we send people to fucking Arizona or something here in the United States. Like, oh, you go play for Milwaukee now. You're a Brewer. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
You're a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Imagine growing up in California and being sent to freaking New York. I mean, not even New York, like Minnesota.
Well, I mean, like look at what
The
kind
Twins.
of crap. Like, the greatest sports documentary ever made. No, about Doc Ellis.
Yes.
Oh,
He grew up in
Wrexham.
California and then had to go and do minor league in segregated South.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Doc Ellis has got a great
that's
story.
fucked up. You know, so
Threw no hitter on LSD. Look it up. It's a
I love Doc Ellis, man.
fantastic little YouTube video. It's a true story. Threw a no hitter. He's looking at the star. He's looking at the home plate umpire. And he's just seeing stars.
You know what? Too. Yeah, he threw a perfect game even on LSD, right? Or was it a no hitter?
I thought it was a no hitter on LSD,
right.
but all the same.
No hitter on LSD, and that same season he made the All-Star team and was a part of the first ever all-black starting lineup for a baseball game.
And I believe he only threw the one game on the LSD.
In major leagues, obviously.
Basically, what happened is he didn't know he was playing that day. His girlfriend kicked him away next to a pool, and he was like, she's looking at the newspaper. She's like, "You're playing today," and he's high as fuck on LSD outside the pool. He's like, "Oh, really?" Apparently, he got a little bit more during the game because it's a crazy little story. Basically
True
baseball
heroes.
used to be doing uppers and downers and all sorts of weird stuff. And there used to be people, fans. Yeah, there were fans literally handing players pouches of pills. It's fucking nuts. The old NFL was even crazier too with some of the drugs that some of these players were talking
Pele
about.
and all of them in the NASL went to Studio 54.
That's a good time. Sounds like a good time to go with Pele. You know what's another good time to go with Pele?
What's that? What's what?
I would say I was going to say going to Serie A. No, probably not. Bundesliga, yes. Take me to the Bundesliga. Take me to the Bundesliga. Bundesliga, Leverkusen kicking Bayern's ass. Do we ever see this happening again?
I mean, they did take on Harry Kane. So it's kind of like, oh man, you brought the curse with you.
Bayern has won every single championship since
Wolfsburg.
Since before 2014, which Google doesn't have the results for clickable on what I'm looking at.
Wolfsburg in like
2012, 2013?
2006 or 7. That's the literal last time.
Bundesliga champion. That was in 2008-9.
Okay, 8-9.
Yeah, that's a while ago, man.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long while ago.
But
Didn't
meanwhile,
Dortmund win
Bayern
it 1
finally.
year?
Nope.
Dortmund has not won it in the last 10 years, from what I've seen here. It's
Bayern.
all
Bayern won
Bayern
it
except for
11 years
Leverkusen this year. And their goals for 77 to Bayern's 89. Their goals against, though, 22. Take a look at their defense and their goalie.
Defense wins championships, baby.
Bayern led up 38 to Leverkusen's 22. That's 26 more. 26 more goals let up than Leverkusen. Who the fuck's their defense and goalie? I gotta dig into that. Granit Xhaka? Florian Wirtz? Frimpong? This is a team.
They got a real team, man. We went through this before.
Alex
you had this kind of
Grimaldo?
same reaction.
I'm just stunned at the names that I recognize on this team. Arthur? Let's keep
Like,
going.
man, it's like the guy just said
Lucas
Christmas for this guy.
Radetsky. He's their captain. Lucas Radetsky is their captain, goalkeeper from Finland,
Jesus.
and he's freaking
This is
just
like
won
Memento.
the
Oh man,
league. Crazy movie.
Oh. So I can't tell you how excited I am that Bayern lost. I want some variety. I don't want true parity where it's just like a crapshoot all the time, like NFL, worst to first, to first to worst. But like I do like seeing at least a race. You know what I mean? I at least like seeing the race. I hate when Bayern and City and PSG and Ajax and the only one team wins the league. Like it's gross. It sucks.
yeah.
So long live Leverkusen.
Moving on to Serie A, Inter Miami dominated.
Inter Miami, Inter Milan.
Oh wow, you said Inter Miami. Really? What city is that in Italy?
Somebody's got to throw it.
So Inter. I
Wow.
almost did it.
Inter Milan. It's so easy to do.
They ran away with this thing.
They're both Inter.
But you know who finished second, don't you?
Yes, Christian Pulisic
And AC Milan.
and AC Milan.
I'm extremely happy Pulisic has found his footing. He is by far the best American player. I don't care what you say about Gio Reyna. He hasn't shown it yet. Pulisic has delivered. He had a big year at Chelsea. He had big moments in years he wasn't being fully utilized. He had big moments at Dortmund, and now he put together a strong Serie A season, which is a great league for him to just slice and dice. I look forward to him retiring a club legend.
Guess who was the leading scorer for AC Milan?
Pulisic.
It was Giroud. Guess who was the second leading scorer for AC Milan?
Pulisic.
It was Pulisic.
Okay, perfect. See, I told you they was boys, man.
I trapped you there, but yeah, Olivier Giroud with 13 goals. Christian Pulisic is the second leading scorer for their team with 10 goals. Rafael Leao, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Noah Okafor, Luka Jovic, Theo Hernandez.
Now hold on, that's got to be just Serie A because on the season I think he's got way more goals.
Really?
He scored some
Yes.
Champions League
Yes.
goals.
This is just Serie A.
Yeah.
Who's their goalkeeper?
Why am I blanking? It's the guy whose name starts with an M.
Is it Mayan? Mayan
I
or
think
Marante?
so. I don't know how exactly to pronounce it.
It's Myron. It's Mike Mayan. Magnan.
He's pretty solid.
He's
but
French.
they've got a good team, and like everybody thought Pulisic was going to back up some people, and he made them have to force all three of those wingers onto the field at the same time. Like they couldn't take him off the field
because he was one of their best players.
He's the best American player on the planet. He was one of their best players, if not the player of the season. Like I said,
was definitely their player. Olivier Giroud is not scoring those goals without Christian Pulisic. Drawing those attention.
They played well together at Chelsea. They played well together at AC Milan. I'm excited about it.
Wow, that's actually pretty damn awesome. How did the other American do?
Well, Musa did not get a ton of playing time, but played well. Like
Musa
did not
28 appearances. 28 appearances. I think he actually played a lot more than he thought. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, he's so young that any bit of experience like that, especially with that many appearances, I didn't know he made that many.
Right.
That's good for him because he never didn't look out of his depth. He didn't super excel, but that's fine. He's at an age where he's always going to continue to get better. And like he excites me for the national team as well. Like Italy is a good place for these guys.
What about Juventus's Weston McKennie? He led the team with 9 assists.
McKennie is becoming an integral part of what they do. You know who McKennie is now? He could become Juventus's like Rossi or like that guy who's just like an anchor. He's never like the best player on the team, but he's always such a cog in the system that he just is important and stays there. Do
you want to know how important Weston McKennie was? The second most assists was 4. He has 9. He has double plus 1 assists.
And he's a scoring threat.
He had 0 goals in Serie A this season.
Well, but he is.
A scoring threat. But he is a scoring threat. I definitely agree with you there.
So I think he had a great year. Obviously, I think Timothy Weah could have had a better year. I would love for him to go somewhere that truly sees him as an attacking player.
Was Weah on this team?
Yeah, because he plays so well for the U.S.
Yeah, he had 0 goals and 1 assist in 27 games played.
Well, because they played him as a wingback and mostly as a wingback. That's why the U.S. is talking about playing him in the wingback for Dest, and since he's injured.
Spot duty, yes, that makes sense.
And then put Reyna up front. So I mean, I think it depends. Way is at a crossroad in his career. He's got to either fully commit to this left back or right back thing, or he's got to commit to attacking as a winger. And I don't know what he's gonna do right now. But I would hate to piss him off because his dad's the president. Or
the president of Liberia. That's right. All right, let's close down this part, and then we'll come back and talk about the Fire briefly before we shut down the podcast. Guys, thanks for hanging out here on Enemies of the Fire. Make sure you guys kick that like button, comment below at anything that infuriates you or makes you happy. We like both.
Fellow enemies of the fire, welcome back. And for the most enthralling conversation you've ever had about a 0-0 game, we are here to talk about the Chicago Fire versus Atlanta United. Gentlemen, I need a moment to process. How do you feel about what happened?
DPG, did you get to see it up close and personal? I had the luxury of catching the last few minutes of the game. And what I saw was a team that was working hard, and they were working so hard for a point at home. Like, I saw a team that was literally bleeding for a point at home 10 games into the season, and they're still only in 13th place. So it seems like a pretty desperate place to be in.
So, yeah, this is what's so disappointing about this team is that, and I mentioned this to Talk, that we were really dominating in that first half for the start, for like the first 20 minutes.
The first half of the first half.
Yeah,
we were in control of that game.
Yeah, we were in control. We even hit the bar at one point.
Dude, Koutsias had a golden opportunity. And to be fair, he didn't sky it. He hit it down, but he hit it too hard down, and it bounced. And it bounced right up and hit the crossbar. And it's just like, what is this kid snake? Is this team snake bit, or is that just a deficiency of his talent? Right.
Well, I've said this before. I think he's a bust, man. I think
I would agree. Unfortunately,
I think the fact that I don't know why people are so high on him. I get it. He does the running, he does that, but he's doing pointless running because nothing comes of it.
Well, he made some good runs, but then that fell off early. And I gotta say this, man, with Koutsias, maybe we're a little fast to write him off because a part of me, I didn't have a lot of faith in his abilities. I just had faith in the fact that he was young. So it's like, just fucking throw him to the wood chipper until he's better. You know what I mean? And that's why I've been pushing for Koutsias up to this point to come in for Kuipers, is because he's young. Like, he may struggle all year and then like light up the last 3 games, and then next year all of a sudden he's a star MLS player. You just don't ever know.
You want him to get better. He's young.
Mold these players.
Like,
exactly.
he learns. But it also comes down to showing flashes. Are you seeing more flashes out of Tom Barlow than Koutsias?
God, no.
Oh, no, God, no, man. When Tom Barlow takes the field, that's it, man. You said whatever the scoreline is,
It's
if the
stuck.
Fire's is stuck, and if the Fire's winning, somehow they're gonna end up a draw.
You know, the Fire damn sure aren't going to score, but so is the other team is not going to score neither.
You don't think Tom Barlow's good for 3 goals this season?
Oh, he has none yet, right?
Yeah.
3 goals.
I don't think he gets 3. Not on this team.
That's not a
Keep in
serviceable.
mind-
That's not a serviceable backup striker.
We're almost 1/3 done with the season too. So
There's not much time left to score, buddy.
it's
So we're already, we kind of dove in, but I guess like maybe let's take like a step back.
Okay.
Are we at all happy with a point with the kind of chaos that we ended up having with injuries? Like going into the game, we had 5 injuries. Now we're up to 7. And I will tell you the 7: Federico Navarro, Gaston Jimenez, Shaqiri, Marin Holly Selassie, Chase Gasper, Brian Gutierrez, and Tobias Sahlquist, which Sahlquist is
he's done for the season.
He is done. Like
No, he's not. They said 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
It looked like
It looked so bad.
it looked like he needed a
leg off.
Dax
Yeah, like just
didn't mean to
cut it off.
either. Dax got pushed. I think he kind of got pushed into him accidentally.
Yeah, that's exactly
Like
what
I think a lot of it too is that Sahlquist didn't get out the way. He just
Sahlquist didn't get out of the way. Dax got pushed into him. Dax started motioning to the trainers to come on the field immediately.
You know when that happens.
Sahlquist did the exact same thing he does when the other team has the ball. He just stood there, stared, and look what happened.
I got to tell you, man, the one thing that I don't see anybody else talking about is that late in the first half, we had some time, and instead of make any kind of push, we just held the ball.
We kicked
and
it
like
back.
and the crowd started booing. I started booing as well. Like, how can you do this after being beaten 4-0 in your own house? The next game, you're gonna just play for the 0-0 tie, and Frank Klopas has no heat under his seat. Apparently, I missed the presser, but apparently it sounds like he's like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that's what I heard from MLS pundits and Doyle and the people who tend to know these things. Like, his seat is ice cold.
So this is all the making of Joe Mansueto. I put the blame on him. He has created this issue. He has not fixed the
100%.
issue. He is basically becoming an Andrew Hoffman with more money. That's all it is.
He's right. He's right.
No, I would completely disagree.
Not completely disagree.
Why.
I won't completely disagree.
I feel like Andrew Hutman near the end, like, you don't hire Baba Yaga to run your team unless you're doing a major league, where he wanted to drive it down for some reason. I don't know why, but they were driving that team down and getting it bare bones to sell.
Let me just do a Google on Andrew Hotman's wife. Diddly diddly dee. Don't Google it, because you're gonna find some stuff on Superman that you don't want to find. A character on Superman that you don't want to know.
They
were dealing with that shit. Our Chicago Fire Club was dealing with that shit, and nobody talked about it.
Dude,
no, I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
Exactly.
I know a little bit about what you're talking about.
We don't need to talk about it too much.
I blocked those years.
Google Andrew Hotman's wife, and you'll find everything. And then click the news section. You'll find everything you need to know.
It's wild, dude. Like, I disagree with your point because of this, DPG. Andrew Hotman never seemed to truly care. He tried to it's that guy who works harder and trying to like get out of work than actually how hard the work would be. He tried hard to look like they cared, but never really did. Mansueto cares a lot, but is just making bad decision after bad decision.
I don't know.
You don't spend that. Well, I mean, I guess I did call Gaston Jimenez the human money laundering.
The dude bought Gaston Jimenez. The dude okayed the purchase of Gaston Jimenez. What more do you need to know about this guy?
He doesn't know soccer. He goes, "Hey, guy,
he's a financial expert. I could have run the numbers. And I'm a layman, and I would have said, nah, probably not.
I would tend to agree with you. I don't think it's a Andrew Hotman thing. I think he cares and wants to do well. He's just terrible at it.
That
you
might
know,
be.
like
I think here's the thing.
How could you be this bad though?
Mansueto is letting someone else run this team, throwing money at the problem, and the guy that's running the team for him is just garbage. Like he can't get things together. He can't even find a decent head coach to run this team. He literally has to freaking bring the same guy that's been sitting as an assistant coach since like 2019, and prior to that, he was a color commentator. So my thing is this: is that if Joe cannot see like what's going on with this club, if he cannot see what's going on the field, how different does that make him from Andrew Hoffman?
It doesn't make him that different.
He can't change anything until the summer window. You know, I mean, I guess
we've been saying that for the past 2-3 seasons.
To be clear, get this, guys. Joe Mansueto actually might be a worse owner than Andrew Hotman. Which one of those owners let the WNBA pass them by?
I don't necessarily know if that's quite happened.
Which
yet,
one of those owners let the WNBA pass them by?
I mean,
Chicago Sky is more popular than the Chicago Fire right now, 100%. Today, than they were last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That's a failure of Joe Mansueto. See ya.
I'm following Angel Reese already on Twitter.
Angel Reese is awesome. I cannot wait. Camila Cardosa, she's going to fucking dominate. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, sorry. Ribbies all day. Rebounds.
I'm going to go to a game this year for sure.
My brother had tickets. He bought them for $120. He ended up selling them for $350 because he's like, you know what? I can't make that weekend, and they're just keep going up. Guess the Fire tickets? I ain't doing that.
So I'll put it this way. We don't want to hate on something else to feel better about ourselves.
No.
But how should we feel as a Fire fan? Because I'm a big fan of this for the Red Stars. But how should we feel as a Fire fan that the Red Stars are going to play a game? And I went to look for tickets because I was like, oh my God, at Wrigley Field. And those tickets are not cheap. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap.
Well, it's going to be at Wrigley Field. I mean, it's Wrigley Field, bro.
Fire aren't playing at Wrigley Field.
No, they're not.
And even if they did, who'd give a shit?
That is true. He you know what? I don't.
Because that's the crazy thing. This is topsy-turvy world, where literally the two women's clubs in Chicago. You got the Chicago Sky. They're a more desirable ticket than Chicago Fire. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that the Chicago right now and probably the next season at least.
Except for the Messi game. And Chicago Red Stars, I don't think they're a more popular ticket than the Fire, but that one ticket.
Oh, I thought you said Red Stars first. No, you're right.
Like, the Red Stars are they're behind the Fire for sure. But at the same time, that one ticket of what you're talking about with Wrigley Field, that's a pretty damn desirable ticket.
That's a big deal. That's a cool.
You're going to see some women's national teamers there.
The old 100%. And like the WNBA thing, I think we're going to get into a trap where you're going to see pundits doing the MLS versus WNBA, like a head-to-head kind of like what's more popular. But I think what you're missing is the WNBA is in the infancy of something very cool.
Yes.
Like we're seeing Mantle and Ruth and all these people that like in 100 years when like women's sports is pretty on par with men's sports with gambling and attendance and everything else.
Guess what? It's going up.
They're going to be like, man, do you remember like, this girl's awesome, but I bet Caitlin Clark from, 2025 could beat her. You know what I mean? Like it's just, we're seeing the birth of something interesting. Like, honestly, I went to visit my parents during the NCAA women's tournament. It was like the Elite 8 or Sweet 16 weekend. And it was amazing. Not only were there great skilled teams, but there were so many characters.
These girls can shoot. They can shoot the lights out. They're incredible shooters.
But the thing is, like, what I'm saying is there were the characters. You had your Bird, your Magic, your James Worthy. You had your characters.
Angel Reese's, your Cardosas, your Caitlin Clark's. They're all different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
they are.
I'm almost happier as a Chicagoan that we got April Reese.
Angel Reese.
Going to be Angel Reese.
Yes, I agree.
Instead of Caitlin Clark.
She's
I'm
a
actually more
beast.
happy. Like,
she is a legit beast. I watched her in the game. I've watched her in her past few games. I've seen her lose and I've seen her win. And holy cow, that lady has freaking impressed me, because I was like, oh, she's just, at first I was like, oh, she's just a popular player. No. She is a popular player with some of the best skill at basketball in her sport. Now, another thing that's been kind of clarified for me is when you make, we always think about the jump from college sports to the big leagues, but sometimes we fail to think that the big leagues are really the best of the best from those college sports, all coagulated together. Sometimes we miss that fact. Yeah. And that's what is the WNBA. That is what's the NFL. That is what is NHL, and I don't know if MLS and all that kind of stuff. Some of these other leagues where there's a little bit more international import, so it's a little less so, but something to think about.
You know, they're going to go through a little period where some people might be salty, but here's the thing. I'm not salty that Messi is in the league now. No, it doesn't take away from how much happy. I used to enjoy Brad Evans. So same thing with the WNBA. Despite the fact that it's going to be super popular now because it's interesting, I'm sure it was interesting when we didn't see it, but now we're being awakened to it. Let's put it that way.
Was it really that interesting?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm
going to go on past evidence and say, no, it was not interesting, because guess what? When it is interesting, it's interesting. And it's interesting now. That's for sure.
Hold on, that's a perfect segue. Guess what's not interesting? The thing we're avoiding talking about, the Chicago Fire.
Oh, God. Yeah. All right. Be right back after these messages, or are we going to dig into it?
No, let's just do it. Let's just roll right into it, because everybody... What are we... Like, we had a lot of fun on this episode, and the Fire are aggressively unfun to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Like, how many more ways can I say Frank Klopas sucks and as a coach, and I enjoy him as a player, and I wish him well as a human being.
At least 24 more times. Yep. 24, because we're 10 games into the 34-game season.
Why am I the one that said that at the beginning of the year, and now I'm just like every day going, why isn't he fired? Why isn't he fired? Like, I said it at the beginning of the year. I'm like, nothing short of like holding Manhattan hostage with a nuclear weapon would fire him. But now, for whatever reason, I'm...
You know what? It's one of those situations where the guy in charge is picked the easiest option or the easiest choice to run this club. And unfortunately, it's like you couldn't give someone a crap load of money to run this team. Like, like, come on, guy, you have money. We know you have money. We know you have deep pockets. First of all, you need a new GM because the one you have sucks. And we've been saying that for the past 4 or 5 years. Nothing's changed. We're not going to make the playoffs again. He's running this club, and he's running it to the ground. He's making you look like Andrew Hoffman. That's Jesus. How bad it is.
So let's think about this reasonably.
Yeah.
No matter what, the problem is, like, if you fire Klopas, you got nobody else. But the best part would be like just someone, right? But the thing is, the longer you don't fire Klopas, the next manager, if it's not Pep and it's not Jose, it's going to be a letdown because they've had 2 years to find him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Well, or her. They've had 2 years to find a manager, and whoever we get is set up to fail.
Yep.
Because of that.
Absolutely.
Unless
screaming.
It's Pep or Jose.
Yeah. Jose could save any club. So yeah, you're right about that. Jose is a superhero.
The special one.
The special one. He's a superhero.
The special one.
What happens is Sven Gordon Eriksson or whatever walks through that door.
Oh, Jesus. Why would you say that name, bro?
Well, oh, man. So
you might as well just say Trapattoni, too, while you're at it.
So let's slide into the... Oh, can we mention one thing?
Would you take Ralph Ragnick here or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Ragnick, yes.
I would take Solskjaer here.
I'd take Ragnick.
No,
I would.
Fuck no, Ragnick. Oh man, I did not like that dude.
I don't know, man. So before we transition into our predictions for the upcoming game, I want to mention one thing that I almost forgot to mention. Zach Thornton inducted in the Ring of Fire.
Yes, everyone. You guys pulled up. I saw that. And Zach Thornton was one of the reasons I got into the fire. It made it easier for me to get into the fire because of Zach Thornton when I was a young lad back in 1990, back in the 1990s. I just love Zach Thornton.
We got bobbleheads.
Yeah, we got the bobblehead, and I didn't realize he actually was on the team for every trophy this team has ever won.
1998 to 2006, 215 appearances, Zach Thornton.
And he played past that. When he left Chicago, he played for a few more years.
Went to Colorado Rapids, the Red Bulls, Benfica for a year on loan, but that was with the Chicago Fire. And Chivas USA.
I just want to throw that out there. He deserves all the praise. Like it was the perfect addition to put someone in the ring. It's been a while. This was the perfect person to put in. And the only thing that's negative is I was like, why are they doing all the celebration before the game? I'm like, this sucks. We should do it at halftime.
Yeah, it was weird.
Well, duh. No, I'm an idiot. I didn't realize until the day of the game. He's our goalkeeping coach. So he's working at halftime.
Oh, geez.
Right? So,
yeah, that'll do it. That makes sense.
So, yeah, I'm going to give him all the credit for Brady. And
I'm not going to give him all the credit. Brady.
That's another thing we didn't mention.
But he definitely gets credit. He definitely gets credit because Brady, though, built himself a lot, too.
Chris Brady is him. Yeah. My God, he has saved us so much this
Yep.
season.
I'm starting to wonder. People used to say, is he better than Slonina? And I used to say no.
There was a lot of chatter that he was.
I actually think he's better than Slonina at this moment.
100%.
But is that because I'm not seeing Slonina play? Could be a factor.
No, because he's better than when Slonina played here.
That's what I think. That's what I think. He might be a little shorter than Slonina.
I think a lot of it too is that I like his anticipation a lot better than Slonina.
His footwork.
He dives. He makes the right calls.
Yes.
Not saying that Slonina didn't do it, but it's just more evident. We're talking about a young goalkeeper that has to play in front of one of the worst defenses of the league. And the fact is, if he walks away with a clean sheet, that should be taken as a win.
His reaction time is shocking. It's amazing. Yep. And I don't want to disparage Slonina because he shows a lot of promise as well.
Yep.
But Brady, man, he's the truth, man. And I hate to say this out loud, but get the hell out of Chicago and grow your career, man. You need that he could, we could be looking in 5 years at US #1.
Yep.
So
you know what I mean?
So what's crazy is Gaga Slonina, guess how old he is?
Same age.
He's the same age. They're both 19.
Yep. Wait, are they still 19? I thought they were in their 20s now.
So Chris Brady is actually older.
By what? A couple months?
Let's see how many months. Let me see when the birthday is. So Chris Brady is older by 2 months, correct?
How old is he?
So the Chris Brady's 20 because he's born in March. And Gaga Slonina will be in 14 days. 20.
That's still so young for both of them to be so young.
Under 20. They can't even legally drink in America at this moment unless they go to Wisconsin and they got family.
That's so wild, man. So
that law is, man, that's a good loophole. Just bring your dad.
Yeah, you just have your dad and your dad okays it. That actually is a thing in Wisconsin. I think that's pretty cool. My dad way back when was grandfathered. This was kind of cool. My dad was his age was kind of like the cutoff where he could be an 18-year-old and go to Wisconsin and drink.
Oh, that's sick.
And everybody who was younger than him couldn't. So if you were 17, that was kind of like the cutoff was his 1 year. So it's kind of wild. So it was a little funny story.
That is wild. So, gentlemen, underage drinking aside,
legal.
New England comes to town this weekend.
Yep.
I will be in attendance yet again.
Good luck.
Will either of you?
I will not be. I have horse races on Saturday, and I have a big-time birthday for a tiny, tiny person that's very, very important on Sunday.
Okay. Then DPG, will you be there?
That is a very good question. I don't know if I am. eventually I do want to spend some family time. So I don't know. Right now it's looking like I'm not.
There's nothing compelling to bring you, right? We're
This
playing
is a
New
win.
England. This is
a win. I mean, that's compelling.
It should be. But
I think that's compelling.
There's a difference
who's
between.
going to play center midfield? They're all hurt.
They're all
Navarro,
hurt. Haile
Jimenez.
Selassie, gone.
So
I mean,
there's a difference between watching a game like this when you're sitting on the top of the table and the stadium is probably packed versus watching a game like this and you're struggling to make the playoffs.
We're already there, DPG. We are struggling to make the playoffs.
We probably won't make them.
At this moment, we're not. We're in the bottom half of the table.
Not unless something drastically
changes. We were in
changes.
the same place last season, and look
and
what
the
happened.
last season before that, and the season before that. The only season that was different was 2017.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, right now, I'm just gonna call it. I mean, I'm expecting a Fire win. If the Fire can't pull it off,
time of death? You're calling it time of death, 11 o'clock.
If the
May 1st.
If the Fire cannot pull it off on Saturday, I think for the most part, season is done.
I mean, we already knew that. Like the last two home games, like we're in the middle of that. We're in that middle of the stretch where we're like have 5 home games out of 6 weeks, man.
We're 10 games in, and we ain't got shit to show for it.
But this is one of those crappy games that we shouldn't win because we're playing so poorly, but we're gonna win, and Frank is gonna keep his job another 2 months because of it. And it's just like it's just one of those like what do you want? What do you want? Do we want to lose? Do we want to lose?
You want change? There you go.
Changes. Like will it ever? I don't know, man. I just it'd be nice to see a win. This team is decimated. We don't have any tactics. Like what?
We didn't have any tactics before the decimation.
And if we lost Shaqiri, one of our better players when he's on, like, and we don't have Guti, we don't have Haile Selassie. Where's the attack coming from? Chris Mueller?
Yeah,
I mean, like
obviously
Chris Mueller could do it, but he can't do it by himself.
Chris Mueller, man, I don't know if he just needs more time to integrate into the team or if that injury was worse than he thought, but he just is not.
That might be. Oh, wow. I did not think about that. That's a good point, Toke. His injury might have really set him back because he is not. Oh, the decisions are there, but his body doesn't seem up to the task of making some of the calls he's trying to make. Where he used to be able to make those calls and get away with it and have the skill to be able to go into the corner and kind of dance around and draw a player to him. He's not doing that. He's not making those plays lately. In fact, he's getting the ball, and it's and he was the one who called himself out, and he called out these texts, so I started watching him even closer.
Yeah, he called the team out and then proceeded to have 2 breakaways that somehow ended without shots.
That's what I was. Yes, and I'm like, Chris, and I'm like Mueller. This is exactly what you're talking about. But like, where was the balls for you to put it into the middle that you were talking about?
It's I don't.
And I like Chris.
I think I talked myself out of a Fire win, but I said it before, so I gotta stick with it.
I'm sticking with Fire win. They gotta have something to show for it, because if they don't have something to show for it, what's the tape on these players? Like the tape on besides Aragoni, who honestly Aragoni goes out there, impresses me every time. I don't know what that kid's doing. He had the worst
game of the season. He had his worst game of the season this last week,
and he was because he was petulant and he was doing weird things. It was like he was losing his head. And on top of it, it wasn't just him losing his head. I saw Chicos losing his head. I saw some of the other players losing their heads. And
heads hung low. Kuipers was pissed to not get the ball at times.
Like, and he's running his ass off.
Yeah, he's doing you can't even be mad at him.
Hardest working man in Chicago right now.
Finger and be like, ew, striker bad. But like you can't.
A striker should not be working as hard as he is.
You can't pick up the ball in your own half all the time.
Defensively.
Because then he's starting the attack, and then he's not in it near the end, and then there's no shot.
You need somebody to close it, not start it. And if you need somebody to start it, It's got to be somebody who's not Kuipers, who's supposed to be the number 9, literally the closest to the opponent's goalie.
Fire 2-1. James, what are you calling?
I like Fire 2-1. I do like that. I do like that shout out because Kuipers is going to score. But where else are we going to get offense? Where else? If Shaqiri's not able to play, if Gutierrez is not able to play, if Haile Selassie is not able to play, I'm actually now very fearful of a Chicago Fire win. I was penciling in a Chicago Fire win like you are, but I'm like, we might not have the players, especially if there's no Gaston Jimenez or Federico Navarro. The midfield depth that we used to have.
Don't worry.
Disappeared.
You know who's gonna show up?
Fabian Herbers. That's right. Soldier Field hero.
No. You know who's really gonna show up?
Georgia Mihailovic at Yankee Stadium.
Nope. You guys are keep forgetting, bro. Their attack is not dead. The attack is one alive with Tom Barlow.
Bro, if Tom Barlow scores, hold on, bro. If Tom Barlow scores, I will buy you a beer the next game. I will come with a fresh cold beer for you the next time I see you.
Over under on Tom Barlow's goals for the season. He's currently got 0. Last year, I believe he got 3. Let me double check that. What's going to be his over under for?
I would set the over under at 3, and I take the under.
Yep. Tom Barlow
He's gonna have
a goal.
2. He's gonna have 2.
Tom Barlow scores on Saturday.
Oh God.
A brace.
Oh God, guys. Tom Barlow played 34 games last year.
Uh-huh. How many games has he played this year? Because he's come on in almost every single game.
He's got 8 games out of 10 this year, by the way. So in 34 games last year, he scored 3 goals and had 2 assists. He's got 0 assists. I'm signing up for the under here. I'll take 2 goals, 2 assists.
No, 2 goals, 1 assist.
Tom Barlow with the hat trick on Saturday.
Oh, let's go!
Tom Barlow with the Erling Haaland 6 goals confirmed.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Not against this competition. Not unless they get the kids out at halftime.
Dude, why is there no hope? I went into the season with hope, dude.
We always you always have to trick yourself in a little bit of hope.
It started with Frank and it ends with Klopas, bro. That's your hope right there.
I think it starts and ends with Heights and Klopas
deflating.
And Joe Mansueto.
Klopas could win if like, you know who Klopas is? He's oh my God, what's the cat at Madrid's name? He's so vibes. So if he has a good team, the vibes are good. They play well. If he has a bad team, the vibes are bad. He plays.
Klopas is like, he has good vibes all the time, but the team still plays like shit.
Ancelotti?
So,
You're talking about Ancelotti?
Yes, that's exact. Carlo Ancelotti. My
yeah,
bad.
but so it doesn't matter, bro. Screw the vibes, bro. Vibes are not gonna win. I dare you to say that to Jose Mourinho.
Vibes win when you have a good team.
No, bro. Like, Jose Mourinho will run that team hard.
I mean,
Jose Mourinho beats a vibes team every time.
And it ain't like the vibes you're talking about. It's like, hey, better work your ass off in practice vibe.
Yeah, and it ain't the vibes like it is in Colorado going to New York this weekend either. So
well, hold on. That one last question, and then let's sneak out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
What is the closest human being that coaches soccer that is gettable or just outside of gettable that is Jose Mourinho-esque, that the Fire could hire them as a Jose Mourinho replacement?
I thought we called some guys out last time. I was calling out the Swiss coach.
I know I called out Big Sam.
Yeah, you like
I like
Sam.
the idea. I like the idea of a relegation battle dude
Oh my God,
in MLS.
Dude, I would take Paunovic back at this point. I would take Paunovic back at this point because Paunovic is an improvement on Klopas with this team.
Yeah.
With this team, Paunovic,
you know what?
give me Paunovic.
You might be right. I mean, what's Carlos Delos Cobos doing these days?
Oh God, don't bring that guy up, man. That's like another Klopas.
That's gone.
That's Klopas in a suit.
Yeah, that's too gone.
Yeah, so how about this? How about the assistant coach from the U.S. men's national team?
Schmetzer. I just say we hold out for Schmetzer.
Yeah, hold out for Schmetzer. Well,
crap coach for a good crap team.
BJ Johnson. or BJ
Yeah,
Callahan.
Yeah, BJ, yeah.
I was all about BJ Callahan.
Really?
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. He
That's an
probably
interesting
already
name.
he probably in the 606 already, bro. You
So he's the assistant for the U.S. men's national team. He's 42. He's been an assistant everywhere he's gone. St. Joseph, Villanova, Philadelphia Union, and the U.S. men's national team.
Is it weird that Chris Armas and Jesse Marsh still don't have jobs, and the Chicago Fire desperately needed someone
Isn't
to
Chris
coach them?
Armas?
They asked
Isn't
him.
Chris?
It came out.
No.
People have
Oh, Armas is in Colorado. I forgot.
Yeah.
the Chicago
Yeah.
Fire offered Marsh a load, and he said no.
Why would you?
That's come out on the Twitter.
Why would you, dude? Man, you know how I'm very anti Hung-Min Son. I'm very anti,
Yes.
and that's been documented.
Well, I like.
Why
Hugh
would you?
Son.
No, these are all allegedly, but I feel as though, I'll put it this way: he kicks out at people a lot
Yeah.
and is a dirty player at times. But like, take a look and see what the consistency, or like what the common denominator between the players who he does that to is.
Really?
Just yeah. So anyway, I digress.
Interesting.
So why would
What are
you
we talking
coach-
about here?
Don't know, but,
like
we'll look into it. We'll Google it.
But
Off episode.
why would you take South Korea over? Well, I mean, I don't know. Would you take the South Korea job over the Fire? Like, but
Yes.
hold on, the Fire job, you're getting all of the power because they've
same
screwed
with the
up
South
so
Korea
bad.
job. I mean, you just
Okay,
can't go into
fair.
North Korea.
You
You can't talk
yeah.
to Kim
That-
Jong Un.
that's-
But that's like the
That
only
means
rule.
that's the thing is that yeah, exactly. Jesse Marsh is gonna have to go stay in South Korea, and then he's gonna have to send a team with his assistant coach to manage. Well, I don't even think the North Koreans will let the
He
South
might
Koreans play
end
North
up on
Korea.
a new list for Kim Jong Un, but
Yeah.
small price to pay.
All right. Well, before we end up on a list, everybody, what do you say, James? Kick that like button.
Click that like button,
and,
punt it.
Punt it, and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you listening to the show. And gentlemen, do you have any words for the people?
You had a really good thing that remember right before we started. You had a quote.
Oh no, I didn't
No.
know. I have no idea.
No, it was something. It was just some geniusness
Oh no,
that you
that's
proliferated on. So
it's evaporated into the ether like we have. Peace
Like
out,
we have.
everybody.
Peace out.
Yeah. Peace out, everyone.